You can find the game rules on the Dropbox link via the website or in the rules link folder on the Discord channel. Core mechanics. Duels of Dreams rolls 2d6 plus modifiers, including your skills, attributes, and abilities versus a target number or an opposed roll. Your margin of success or your margin of failure, not just binary success or failure, matters. 2 6s on 2d6 is a critical hit, 2 1s is a critical failure. Sometimes you roll extra dice, like an extra d6, sometimes you might only roll 1d6. Sometimes you roll advantage and disadvantage, like in D&D, and some weapons will use d4s and d6s or d8s in some combination. Because of the 2d6 curve, the system is less random than things like D&D and the d20 system. You can see an overview of the skill scale here, and approximately what target number is what skill level. Character creation. Duels of Dreams is a point-by character creation instead of a class system. Most of character creation is built around the tier table, which is how much it costs to get a +1 in an attribute or a skill. Skills are organized into groups, where more broad are to the left and cost more, and more specific are to the right and cost less. Specializing in a skill is when you put points into something that is part of a skill group already. For example, +1 in melee combat is a specialization of all combat at tier 7. Combat skills are split into melee and range skills and can be further specialized into weapons specializations and maneuvers for those weapons. Synergy is whenever you specialize and get +3 in something, it adds +1 to the category above it. Skill caps may occur, which restrict how many points you can put into specializations and how high a skill can go during character creation. Attributes. Attributes start at +0 average and are divided into mental and physical. Attributes are strength, agility, toughness, size, willpower, wit, and intelligence. Derived attributes combine physical attributes together. Derived attributes are power, movement, body, knockdown, knockout, reflex, and action points. Combat. Each combatant has CP or combat points, which is divided between attack and defense each round. A combatant can continue making attacks or taking actions until they run out of combat points. Extra damage is dealt from high attack rolls and a high margin of success. Whenever you take damage, you take wound penalties. There are 3 types of damage: piercing, cutting, and blunt. Piercing does the most blood loss, blunt works better against heavy armor, and cutting generally does the most damage. When you take damage, you have to roll versus blood loss, or else eventually you will pass out. You continue fighting until you fail a knockout roll, or you receive a killing blow, which is 10 damage. You can also make attacks at specific body parts, which has different modifiers and different effects or damage. When making attack or defense rolls, you could choose between different maneuvers, which have a variety of effect and give you plenty of options during combat. Melee weapons are each unique, and reach matters a lot during combat. In general, longer reach gives you defensive bonuses against an opponent. Ranged attacks are made against a target number of 9 for a still opponent or 12 for moving, and shields and size will make you more difficult to hit. Combat is broken into rounds, but you can make a follow-up attack if you win a roll in the first half of the round, including retaliating against someone attacking you. There are also rules for interrupting opponents and for aggressive and defensive stances. Magic. You can create custom spells and abilities using the magic rules by adding up the spell's effect, limitations and advantages, duration, range, and area. There are an extensive list of limitations and advantages in separate Excel sheets. There are also rules for converting D&D casters into Duels of Dreams. Extra attention has been put into playing elemental benders and creating your own custom power user or spellcaster. Much of the game is inspired by systems like Ars Magica and the Hero system, where you can build any kind of power you want, but with a more streamlined approach. This should be enough to get you started. Happy gaming!